Viewers, and welcome to another episode of NMH at 1. I am your presenter, Priska Agnolo. Now, we know we're starting a bit late and we do apologize profusely for that. Please do forgive. But without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Featuring in the news at the moment, the Popular Democratic Movement has condemned government for constructing 33 corrugated iron houses for a marginalized community in the Kavango West region to the value of 1.4 million Namibian dollars, saying that it is illegal by housing standards. Minister of Health and Social Services Dr. Kalumi Shangula said the establishment of the African Medicine Agency by the African Union will help capacitate and improve medicine standards for member states with modern technology and regulations. He made this statement while motivating the ratification of AMA treaty in Parliament on Wednesday. Citing support of the pursuit of economic development, unity and prosperity for people of Zimbabwe, President Hage Geingob called for the lifting of sanctions imposed on that country. And now we move on to our COVID stats for today. Your COVID-19 monitor today shows changes in the number of people in quarantine over the 9 days since last Monday. By Tuesday, only 846 people were still in official quarantine facilities. This number has dropped below 1,000 since the 16th of September. Over this period, 1,091 people entered quarantine, while 1,304 were discharged. In Commerce region, only 83 individuals were left in quarantine. Since last Monday, 474 new entries were recorded in Windhoek and immediate surroundings, and 392 people were allowed to return home. Irongo only had 78 people in quarantine, with 99 entries and 193 exits. Oshikoto, 233, and Karas, 217, had the largest groups in quarantine. The Oshikoto region noted 221 entries and only 90 exits, and Karas 146 entries and 72 exits. The other biggest changes were recorded in Omaheke region, with 90 entries and 127 exits. The lowest quarantine numbers were in Kunene and Oshana with 5 persons each, and Omusati with only 3 people in quarantine. And I do apologize, there was a mistake there actually with regards to Commerce region, which only had 328 entries in quarantine and 392 exits. And that is it for our COVID news. Let's go for a quick ad break, and I'll be right back with the video inserts for today. And now for our first video clip. In news from our correspondents, Kenya Kambowe says that the Kavango East Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology has embarked on a campaign to sensitize members in the various constituencies about the coronavirus. Yesterday, the team was in Diona settlement, and this is part of what transpired.
Thanks for you here. How are you, sir? I'm fine, thank you. Have you heard about corona before? What is corona actually?
Corona is a disease which comes right now. We almost being afraid of it even. So thank you very much for the sanitation even. Because we are even in my house, I don't have it. It's what we call it. It's a COVID, yeah, the COVID-19, a coronavirus disease. Yeah.
How can we protect ourselves from corona? What are some of those basics that we can do to avoid getting or contracting corona?
No, we can avoid that one whenever we are just we are sanitizing ourselves. We are wearing masks, but unfortunately at some areas we feel like it to be doing all those things, but the necessity or the materials, they are not available.
The materials are not available. You mentioned very well we should wear masks, but yourself, you're not wearing a mask. Why is that? Why are you not wearing a mask? Why are we not wearing a mask? Is it because we are in the village here, or Are we supposed to wear a mask at only some places?
That's why I said the lack of materials.
The lack of materials.
Throw even sanitations or whatever,
Okay.
masks. We are not having those things to our local, and unless we're to the town. And to the town, some of the people, they are not having money to go and buy for themselves. With the people, they are suffering. So in case if the government is supposed to provide to the people with all the materials, no, you see all the people will follow the rules.
No, your opinion is very valid. However, I'm going to teach you very basic things that you can do before government meets you halfway. Then you meet government halfway. Okay? You mentioned that you do not have sanitizer. Now, it is not only sanitizer that you can use to avoid the whole corona. Ne? You can also use water with soap. Okay? There is something that we encourage people to put up at their houses, which we call a tipi-tek. I'm sure you have seen it at some villages there. It's simply, you take a 5-liter container and then you connect it to poles and there's a rope there, and then you just add soap and water to it, and then you make sure that everyone that comes to your house washes their hands with that, with the water you put up there. Yeah. The pamphlet you just received shows you very basic, the steps you're supposed to follow if you'd like to set up something like that. That one is very cheap. You don't even have to go to the pharmacy to find sanitizer or whatever. You simply need soap and water. And if you don't have a mask, you know what you can do? You can even take a piece of cloth, any cloth that you can cover yourself with, especially when you come out in public, as long as your mouth is covered. If your mouth is covered, your chances of transmitting the disease are very less. You understand? So that's a mask. You not having a mask should not be an excuse, my brother. You could, as long as you're covering your mouth, okay? All right. Today I'll give you a mask, but I expect you to put it on all the time. Whenever you come to the shop, whenever you visit someone's house, whenever you're out in public. This is to avoid the continued spreading of corona. Are we together? Yes. Okay. Please promise you'll always put on your mask.
I will not. If you happen to give me a mask, there's no way you will get me in the road without it.
Well done. You should always keep it on. Right. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Sanitizer. Let's sanitize you first. Oh, you already sanitized. Okay. Make sure you get the tipi-tek at your house, eh? My ladies.
From our Ironga office, Erwin Lauschner spoke to Barry Holtzhausen, who is the CEO of Alzheimer Dementia Namibia, also known as ADN, about how COVID-19 has impacted the center at Swakopmund.
Ons staan hier saam met Barry Holtzhausen, die CEO van ADN Namibia. Hoe gaan dit?
Ja, gaan goed dan met jou.
Goed, dankie. ADN staan vir
Alzheimer Dementia Namibia.
En julle kyk na mense wat aan dementia ly, of nie ly, maar
ja, wat saam met dit leef.
Presies, ja.
Wat met dit leef,
ja.
Van verskillende siektes.
Ja.
Alzheimer staan maar van die siekte wat een van die 100 siektes wat dit veroorsaak. Dementia staan vir die Sambriel term.
Ja. En sê maar, die lockdown en die hele COVID, hoe het dit julle hierso affekteer?
Dit was 'n baie groot uitdaging geweest. Ons het byvoorbeeld net toe daai 2 mense siek geword het in Windhoek. Hier by Maart maand die 13de dink ek.
Daai 2 toeriste.
Toeriste. Daai maandagooggend het ons lockdown aangekondig. Want ons het besluit ons gaan ons plek toemaak. Ons het vir alle staf gesê bring julle kinders hier daartoe van die skole af, sodat hulle by julle kan wees, want niemand gaan die plek toe verlaat nie. En ja, ons moet werkliks doen, is aankope en mense moet dokter toe gaan. Maar ons het die families dan gekontak ook en gesê, moenie kom kuier nou eers weer nie. Ons moet eers verstaan hoe werk hierdie ding. Ja. Ons het dan gelukkig die virus gevolg oor see, oor Sky, CNN, soos nou al verstaan van maskers sanitizing en die tipe van goed.
Ja. So maar die virus natuurlik is die mense wat hier by julle bly baie aanvallig of
Ja, baie vulnerable.
baie vulnerable.
Ja, baie hulle is nie van wie die brein bestuur alles. En so hulle immuunstelsel hoe verder die siekte vorder, hoe swakker word die immuunstelsel.
Ja,
Want dit word deur die brein bestuur.
ek verstaan.
Byvoorbeeld in die laaste fase beland daar kos en goed in die longe wat hulle pneumonia ontwikkel. Nou 'n mens wat breingesond is, kan die pneumonia met antibiotikas behandel. Vir hulle help dit nie meer nie.
Ja.
So hulle sterf basies op so 'n manier.
So dit was 'n groot uitdaging hierdie hele
Baie
COVID.
groot uitdaging, maar weer het vir ons baie groot voordele ingehou. Soos byvoorbeeld is die eerste winter. Ons mense word verskriklik vinnig siek vanweë vanweë hulle swak immuniteit. Byvoorbeeld diarree en verkoues en so aan. Hulle het niks gehad nie.
Ek sien ja.
Vanweë die feit dat ons kom met maskers hier aan.
Ja,
Maar die uitdaging is ook dan nou die families wat moet terugkom om met hulle te kuier. Daar was in Mei maand was daar 'n week 2 weke wat ons oop was. En ons laat net een familie op 'n slag kom wat op die dek kuier en een familie hier binne in die vierkant. En hulle mag nie hulle vat nie en ons mense verstaan dit.
ja nee, natuurlik. Dis
Hulle moet maskers dra en toe het ons die eerste keer dat hulle by besoek het, was hulle bang vir hulle eie familie want hulle kon hulle nie erken nie.
o,
En jy kan nie altyd in die mense oë sien of hy lag of kwaad is
Ja.
of wat nie. So toe het ons nou met die full face masker begin wat ons dan vir familiediere gee om op te sit, dan kan hulle dan maar hulle gesigte sien.
just so dit was 'n groot aanpassing.
Baie en die families ook van ons familie, baie nou nog hulle kry baie swaar.
Nee, ek glo dit,
Hulle
ja.
kon nie hier uitkom nie. Ons 'n wonderlike storie wat daai tyd gebeur het, die oom en tannie wat daar agter sit. Hulle het verlief geraak intussen tyd. En toe het ek vir hulle een kamer gegee. Hulle kinders gebel en gesê man vergeet van moraliteit en al hierdie
Ja.
snerp wat ons baie keer verkondig. En hulle een kamer gee en hulle leef saam as man en vrou. Want alles hulle in die 80 en al het hulle demensie as hulle vol mens.
Ja.
So hulle die liefde ten volle omarm. Ek meen soos in alles. en ja, vir hulle eie privaatheid het ons
Ja.
dan vir hulle eie kamer gegee.
Dis baie oulik. Nee, baie dankie meneer Holzhausen.
My plesier.
From Mochwarongo, our correspondent Esther Kamati reports that Regional Councillor Marianne Bakera is concerned about the community's attitude following the lifting of the state of emergency.
The Honourable Councillors have said that we think COVID is gone and the behaviour of our people is really worrisome. What we are also observing is that the wearing of masks at the shops seems not to be mandatory anymore. The people are being let into the shops without masks, though it was said it's voluntarily and it's somehow also still mandatory that we must wear masks. I was thinking, Madam CRO, maybe we should speak to, because now that we are not under state of emergency, but we are under Ministry of Health, something. I think we must maybe talk to the health officials so that they do these visits to the shops, just to ensure that wearing of masks remains mandatory and that the people will still be obligated to sanitize their hands in the shops, because it's indeed true that the behavior of our people are really worrisome. We have actually started to relax too much now that we do not have state of emergency anymore. Because it's under health regulations that we are now, health officials, health inspectors should go out to the shops, should go out to the businesses to ensure that masks are still, because when you are going into the shop without a mask, you are not supposed to be getting in. Then they are just, no, it's finished, the corona is finished. Then the security guard also invites, and yesterday I had also an altercation with someone. I said, no, the people should still wear their masks when they enter the shops. So that thing is really totally misunderstood. People feel that it's not mandatory. Security guards feel that people can enter without masks. So maybe because we are under the health regulations now, the health officials should go out to the shops, whether they are from the local authority, whether they are from the Ministry of Health, they should go out and ensure that those things that are still mandatory, like wearing of masks and sanitizing of hands, is still happening. What Honorable Ukura have said in terms of barriers also, it's chaos. It's chaos, barriers are overcrowded. I don't know, police are maybe tired now because we don't want to look after ourselves, but I see a second wave of COVID coming and hit us. Because at the moment, we don't adhere to any of the regulations anymore. Overcrowdedness is a big issue. You look in the social media, you see that there is a dancing bash at this club. There will be what? So this will be another very busy weekend for our people because it's approaching month end. And there is a lot of activities that you see in Chivarango that has been lined up at different places. And I see that we have to go back to our health officials, and we have to go back to our Namibian police so that they go on with their what do you say, patrols and still try. Because now what the police are in a very difficult situation because the people are feeling that no, it's not state of emergency anymore. And that's somehow one hand of the police are tied up while the other hand is trying to do the job because people simply, like it was said, they said it's not state of emergency, it was said we can if we want to. It's voluntary. They say that it's our responsibility now. And that is really very worrisome. We are seeing a second wave coming and hitting us the way we are behaving. It's a very, it's a matter of concern. And also the schools, Madam.
And we're back with news from our daily newspapers. And on the Namibian front page, the national scourge of rape features strongly on today's Namibian, with a 16-year-old girl's account of how her father allegedly raped her repeatedly, along with a report on how a man committed suicide after being accused of raping a teenager. Leading on the Namibian Sun, the Public Office Bearers Commission has moved to implement a directive by President Hage Geingob to limit fuel consumed by government bigwigs every month. The cost-saving measures will see fuel spending by public office bearers being limited to 420 litres per month for use on sedans and 640 litres per month for off-road vehicles. On page 1 of the Algemeine Zeitung, opposition MP Nico Smit expressed serious criticism of the standard of the annual reports submitted to Parliament, accusing his parliamentary colleagues of complicity due to the inclusion of irregularities that remain unobjectionable and are approved and without any questions being asked. On Republicans' front page today, Seaflower Chairman A.J. Lowe says the contract between Seaflower Pelagic Processing and the National Fishing Corporation of Namibia, also known as Fishcore, for an annual horse mackerel quota of 50,000 tons is valid and binding until a court sets it aside or the partners renegotiating. He says it is against this background that this fishing company is preparing a claim for damages of around 250 million Namibian dollars against Fishcore. Leading the new era, President Geingob has called on world leaders to recommit and strengthen multilateralism to better address global crises, including COVID-19. Also on the front page, the report on businessman Simon and Jabez appeared in court for multiple counts of human trafficking. And now we move on to what's featured inside the dailies. The AZ reports that the national cleanup campaign is going virtual this year due to COVID-19 restrictions. At the launch, Environment Minister Pohamba Shifeta called on municipalities, town councils and private enterprises to also get on board. Inside the Namibian, the family of German colonial officer Kurt von Francois says they fear that their great-grandfather's statue could suffer the same fate as the rated Denkmal that was removed in 2013. On page 3 of Republican, farmers in the Okanja area are still battling a blaze that is out of control and heading towards Ovitoto. Initial estimates are that around 10,000 hectares of bush has already burnt. Inside New Era, relatives of the late Amalia Cojones, and I do apologize if I did mispronounce that name, who died in 1963 and is buried at the Farm 508, which is in Havana Informal Settlement, have requested that the city of Windhoek put the relocation process on hold while they investigate the burial site. They suspect that there are other graves in the area as well. On the back page of the Namibian Sun, the soccer saga continues, with Limba Mopetami reporting that the decision to appoint a committee to mediate in the impasse in Namibian football has not been received with open arms. And leading the Market Watch today, the Ministry of Finance said that the deadline to submit individual income tax returns has been extended to the 1st of March 2021. The previous extended deadline was the end of this month. Let's go for a quick ad break and I'll be right back with our interview section for today. So I know I just promised you a video insert for today, but unfortunately there isn't going to be an interview for today. But no worries, as NMH at 1 will be back same time, same place tomorrow. I've been your host, Priska Nyolo. Goodbye, and do stay tuned for the weather.